Bruce Collins, and by request, I'm going to be showing you how to do these small coniferous trees that I've done in one of my Northern Lights paintings. Alright, now for these particular trees in this type of setting where my light is in the background, I'm actually going to be painting these trees black because there's no light shining on them where we can see them. But after we paint the tree, get the basic shape of it, I'll go back and add a little bit of highlights on it, on some of the branches where light might be escaping through some of the branches and bouncing off of it. So we'll give it some texture. Otherwise it would just look too flat. I'm just using a Mars Black mixed with just a little bit of water to make it the paint more free-flowing. And when you start these trees, you really want to start from the top down. Now these trees are in a distance. You would want to do the same thing for a tree that would be close up. So judge how tall you want your tree by starting at the top, and we'll do a tree that's kind of far off here. So we'll start at the top. So I want to start right here, and we'll just draw the whole thing straight down, the whole stem. This is pretty much just a guide on how tall we want it, and this will actually be the very peak, the very top of this coniferous tree. Get a little bit more water. Now obviously with these trees, they start off very small at the top and they branch out as they come down, and I'll show you how to do that and how to judge that, and we'll start off on one side. Just kind of very lightly branch it out, and you'll see as we go along, I'm kind of judging the distance, making it wider as I go down. And I'm also, as you can see, I'm doing this on just one side at first. It's just what I do. I mean, you can go both ways, but you definitely want to start from the top when you're doing these trees. It makes things a whole lot easier. Because if you started from the bottom, you really wouldn't know where to stop. Hopefully you can see this well enough on camera. I'm not sure if I can get it close enough for you to see the detail, but when I'm done painting this, I'll get a close-up shot of it. And actually the paintbrush I'm using for this is a round, just a small round. And as you can see, the shape that I'm giving this tree, you want to go smaller strokes for the branches at first, so you can go back and sit back and take a look at it and see if it's really how wide you really want the branches, and to make it kind of look right, look correct. So later on, come back and do what I'm doing now, and make the branches come out even more. Come back up to the top. Give your branch out. I've got a lot of too much water mixed on this side, so I'll wait for that kind of to dry out and mix more paint in and go over that. it's actually not a bad idea to have some of it to be very transparent, so like light coming through some of these branches. And this is pretty much basically it for the basic shape. Just remember to start at the top and make your line down, because once again, if you start at the bottom, you adding your branches down from the bottom up, you might get the shape wrong. You might be going up too far to make it look right, and yeah, it's all about judging your distance when you're coming down. Alright, I've got a basic shape for that tree. I'll let that dry, and we'll come back and add highlights to it, and I'll show you how I do that. Now, while we're waiting for that tree to dry, I'll go ahead and do one more over here for an example. Do a smaller one right next to it. We'll say I want my tree to be about right here. Start at the top. Doesn't have to be a perfect straight line. Start off on this side. Few branches. So just really light brush strokes. You can see this tree is going to be a little bit more skinny. And you just kind of step back and take a look. I think that looks about right. Now for the highlights. What I'm going to be using color-wise is just a little bit of black and a powder blue. Just mix the powder blue with black, come up with this kind of grayish blue color. You're going to want to mix that with a little bit of water to make it more free flowing, thin it out, and just wipe off a little bit off of your brush so you don't have too much paint on your brush when you're making these really light highlights and strokes. And I'm really gonna just do small little dashes towards the top of these branches here. You don't want them to go outside of your tree shape that you already have. Because the highlights need to be on the branches. Do the same thing over here. Little small dashes. Try to kind of mix up your dashes. Don't have it in like one straight line. Make some a little bit thicker than the other, a little bit heavier. Maybe some going a little bit deeper towards the center. And if you don't have the paint dark enough, if you don't think it's not light enough for your highlights, go ahead and highlight the tree anyway with that color, and then you can come back and add a little bit of white to your paint, or a little bit more powder blue, and just add more to the highlights. It'll just increase the detail and texture in your trees. Coming back to the other side, adding a few small highlights there. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Just remember when you're starting these coniferous trees to start at the top, work your way down with the branches, and always start off very short and close to the stem on these branches at first, so that way you can take a step back and judge how far these branches should come out for the tree to look right, or look the way you want them. And then you can start at the bottom with the branches and make them come out farther. So that's pretty much it on how to paint these distant coniferous trees. If you have any other questions or comments or any more requests, maybe for a coniferous tree that is closer up, more in the foreground, with more detail, with snow on it, anything, just contact me through YouTube or through my website, which is brucecollinsstudio.com. Thanks.